How are you, brother?
I am doing great, sir. How are you?
I am good because we are going tonight to the World Series.
Okay, well, isn't it going to be shocking when you get there tonight and there's no game going on?
Well, I mean, I'm leaving tonight. I didn't mean like they play whenever I
go. Wait a minute. So you're going to Toronto for the World Series?
So here's the bit. Every year since my son is little, I make a bet with him. He can pick a team that's in the bottom half of the rankings in baseball.
Wait a minute. I feel like you've told us this before.
I think so.
I've told you this story. I've told you privately. I maybe on the air, but if that team makes the World Series, I'll take him. And it's an impossible bet because you're taking like one of the worst teams and trying to make it into the best. It never works. He's been doing it for a dozen years, nothing. And 2 years ago, he picks the Texas Rangers, who go to the World Series. I'm like, this is the most expensive bet I've ever made now. And so the games 1 and 2 are always during my daughter's parents' weekend, so we can't go to 1 and 2. I get tickets to Game 6, but the Rangers win in 5. Last year, I get tickets to Game 6 and 7, and the Dodgers win in 5. And so this is the third year I'm trying to complete this bet for 3 years now, and finally there's a Game 6, and we are going to Toronto.
Dude, that is awesome. That is freaking awesome.
It's so good because my son is like, he's almost happy when it keeps going because he just loves watching me being tortured trying to get tickets to Game 6 and 7, the two hardest tickets every year, 3 years in a row now.
Have you been to? I've never been to that stadium for a baseball game, and that entire city is going to be nuts tomorrow night.
Well, that's why I was happy they won last night because I'm like, this place is going to explode. It's obviously I'm so excited. We went to the Cubs the first time they were in the World Series, and even though they lost the first game at Wrigley when we were there, it was like the place. It was the best game I've ever seen because every pitch was like it was the end of the universe, and I love that atmosphere. It's so fun to be a part of.
Oh, dude! Oh, you got to send pictures. I can't imagine what that's going to be like.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good. Our kids, all the animators for our kids' TV show based on the books, they're all from Toronto. So for a month now, they're all freaking out. And I'm like, let's not get crazy until you guys get there. And then, after that, nearly 20 inning game, I'm like, everybody calm down. And then suddenly they're like, do not tell us to calm down. I'm like, you should not calm down.
Well, dude, good for you. Oh, I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
All right, I got a couple of things that I need to get into. And before I get to Simone Biles, can I start with a different I Am book, if you don't mind?
Please.
I thought of you, and I can't, it feels like it was a week ago. It was probably closer to a month ago. But I thought of you when the news broke about Jane Goodall. I thought of you immediately.
Yeah, she was so special. She was the first famous person when we started the I Am series. She was the first one that was alive that we ever did a hero of. And we wrote to her and said, hey, can you help us? And again, the series was just getting started. And she was like, yup. And we were like, what? And she was so nice. And let me tell you one thing. She took pictures with I Am Jane Goodall, and did all the stuff. But what I love, and I've never told this story, is when we were doing the book, there's a moment when she was little, she used to love dressing her dogs up with real clothes. It was just fun for her as a little girl. And we put that in the book. And then when she was proofing the book, she said, can you do me a favor, though, and take out that part about me dressing the dogs in clothes? And I said, wait, but didn't you do that? She says, I did. She says, but it's not good for the dogs, and I want to always do what's best by the animal. And I love that, like, even 90 years old, she's still always on message. Like, she never, ever, it was so nice. And I was just like, of course. So, obviously, when she passed away, all of us, I was emailing with her whole team, and we were just like, she's a legend, the best.
Now, then, the other thing that I thought was really nice is when they announced her funeral, it's going to take place at the National Cathedral in D.C. I like that.
Me too. Me too. I feel like that's, there's like she's on that Mount Rushmore of like people, like not presidents, but just like people who truly changed the world. I think that's a good thing. I love that. I actually didn't even know that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I like that. And I agree with you. It just shows how big she is and how important she was that's where they're holding her funeral. I loved when I saw that. Anyway, let me switch gears. Let me get to Simone Biles. First, remind me, I read the book, Brad, but remind me, how did we get to Simone Biles?
So it's a good question. You know, they a couple of years ago, they said, "Hey, we want you to do Simone Biles." Everyone puts together different things, and at the time I was like, "No, her story's not done yet." She had just walked away from the Olympics. I was like, I'm glad she stood up for her mental health, but there's no ending to the story yet. She needs an ending. And then when she won the gold medal, I was like, well, let me look into this. Let me just look into what her story is. I really didn't know it very well, because I thought it was about like, oh, you get knocked down and then you get back up.
Right.
And I was completely wrong. I was just wrong. Like, what I realized her story is I knew this. I came about it backwards. I knew I wanted to do a book about mental health. I was just looking at my own kids and looking at all my friends' kids, and our kids today are suffering. They're suffering, right? I mean, it is not the same as when we were growing up. Social media has wrecked these kids' self-esteem. If you have a kid today who's of a certain age, there's like anxieties off the charts. And I said, who can I do? And it was Simone Biles, whose name kept coming up. And then that's what the book, I said, I don't care about the gold medal. I care about this advocate for her mental health. And man, do our kids need a mental health kids book more than ever.
And you know what's interesting, Brad, is like you said, you didn't know her story. And I feel like Simone Biles is so famous. And Simone Biles is like such a star. And then I realized when I was reading it, I don't know her story. I know her as an Olympian. I know her as the Olympian that had to take a break from the sport for her mental health. And I know her as an Olympian, or a gymnast, I should say, who came back and then shocked the world and did it again. I didn't know her story from when she was a kid. I didn't know that at, 3 years old, her mom and her dad, or her mom rather, takes her to foster care, and she ends up with a foster family until her grandparents are able to come get her with her and her sibling. I had no idea.
And that, the letters that we're getting from families already, the book's been out like 2 days, from foster families. I'll read you another one when we get to the mental health part, but like, they're so emotional. And when she goes and lives with her grandparents, she's officially adopted at 6 years old. And she goes to her grandmother, is like, does this mean I can call you mom and dad now? And she's so excited by that possibility that she goes up to her room and she just practices it, saying mom and dad, mom and dad. Those words are so meaningful to her. And then she runs back downstairs. She's like, mom, dad, and they're like, yeah. And they're like, what's going on, Simone? And she's like, nothing. And she just runs back upstairs, and it's like, I called them mom and dad. And I know that there are kids that are going to read this book, that page is the most important page in any book I've ever written.
By the way,
because suddenly they're not alone.
I wrote it down. I was like, it's the greatest page in the book. It is by far that whole scene where she goes downstairs and for the first time she says mom and dad and they answer. It's the greatest page in the book. I mean, listen, the rest of the book is good and there's a lot of good stuff in there, but that page is so powerful.
No, listen, that's why I gave it its own page. I was like, I think, in these biographies, you can be like, I'm going to give the big page to the gold medal. I'm going to give the page where she learns to do a flip. When we have those pages, fine. But I'm like, no, this is the most important part. Like, I stretched that part out because I'm like, there are kids out there that are just like, where's a book where the hero looks like me? And I don't mean like skin color. I mean like they have my life. I'm a foster child. I don't know who my parents are, or I do know who they are, and they let me go. And I was like, no. This is where we're going to help some kid, and this is a permanent memory. And I care more about that one kid, than all the kids are going to buy it. No offense but for the gold medal. Like that's vital to me.
And then, the other thing, and I tell you this, I always love at these moments of trying to go through the book and trying to figure out if that didn't happen, would we get blank? And like when she's really, really young, like I think like 4 or 5 or whatever, if that trampoline, and listen, she's hyper, she's all over the place, and she's like running around, and if that trampoline isn't in the backyard, do we get Simone Biles?
I mean, the thing is, I think let's just talk about it, right? So she goes to live in this new home. And in the backyard is a full trampoline. And she's like, they're like, you want to try it? She's like, are you kidding? Runs. Chris Eliopoulos draws one of the most beautiful pictures I've ever seen him draw, which is her, in the air, her braids just all, like a rainbow around her. And obviously that's where she starts figuring out what she loves. I do think we still get it because and I didn't make up any moment in this book. You can see her on her bunk beds. When she'd be on the bottom, she would grab the slats on the top and then use them as monkey bars.
Right.
Like she's doing gymnastics. I don't care if there's a trampoline. Gymnastics will be done in this house. And obviously I think the bigger moment is even when she walks into that gymnastics place. But
that tumbling gym, the tumbling gym where the person's like, you got a membership. She's 6 years old. She's 6 years old inside the tumbling gym. And the director of it is like, you can just stay here. Like you can do whatever you want here. Like she was amazing what she was doing in there.
Well, what they do is they have like one of those the giant ropes that come down from the ceiling. And they're like, listen, if you want to climb the rope using just your arms, put your legs straight out, give it a shot. You probably won't get far, but and she's like, bup, 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 and she's all the way to the top. And they're like, what? And, they're like, 6-year-olds are not supposed to be able to do that. And the coach is like, who's that? And they're like, that's the one I'm telling you about. And yeah, then they're like, you have a membership. Here's the Blockbuster card. Come back every day.
But I was so glad to read that stuff because again, I know of Simone Biles when she became famous. I don't know her upbringing, but that gets me to, there's another part here, Brad, where, and this is the other place, as impactful and as important to me as that foster or calling her grandparents, mom and dad, is where she says at the age of 9, she was diagnosed with anxiety and ADHD at the age of 9. How great. I mean, listen, when I say how great is that, not that she has anxiety and ADHD, but that she had parents that were interested, that took notice and then got her diagnosed.
We know ADHD very well in my family. And it was obviously, I did not know that about her when I started writing the book. And of course I was like, no, this is it. And I'm going to read you. This is a letter. It's actually going up on our social media later tonight. But this is the first letter I got when the book came out, the day it came out, and it said this. It was like, Dear Brad, not sure this will reach you, but just want to say how wonderful I Am Simone Biles is. And this is what it says. It says, we had a rough week over here with my daughter, who's in 3rd grade, being laughed at on the bus in tears. But when she saw that Simone had ADHD like her, she lit up and she said, thank you for writing this book. We needed it. We have all your books, but this is definitely our favorite. And again, those moments where a kid can see themselves, that ADHD moment, again, you can see what I did there is I'm like, you get your own page for this. This is not something we mention in the timeline. She says, if you look at that page, I have sometimes Simone Biles will break the fourth wall and talk to you directly as the reader.
Right.
And it says on that page, to be your best, you need to feel good about yourself. And that is what kids who are going through that stuff don't understand at that young age. And here's Simone Biles breaking the fourth wall and saying, you're okay exactly as you are. You have worth and you're worthy of being loved. And I don't care if you're, in 3rd grade or you're, 50 years old, we all need that message.
Hey, you talk about certain moments in the book getting their own page and not just being part of a timeline or just kind of telling the story. When you talk about her withdrawing from the Olympics, right? So now fast forward, we're Olympian Simone Biles, and she withdraws from the Olympics, and it talks about the public reaction. That page is pretty heavy, dude.
Yeah, it is the one that we were. You should see. It was heavier. Like what she says about her time is she feels like all the words that everyone calls her publicly are on her face. So failure, quitter, loser, terrible, embarrassment. And so we did exactly what she says when she talked about it publicly, is we put all those words on her face, and it was devastating. We were like, we can't do it. And Chris then very smartly put those words all over the page, and she's just, has a tear coming down and she's crying as you feel it. And I think, you cannot understand what she comes back from until you understand what she's been through. And that is sometimes the internet's really fun and funny. We can make a good joke, and sometimes it is the cruelest, most, and we are, as a society, ruthless. And we were ruthless with her. And what no one understood even at the time, because they were like, oh, you're a quitter. You quit the Olympics. And then you forget that story came out about sexual abuse for all these gymnasts.
Yeah, right.
And then you forget that, wait a minute, she went through that too. And we don't talk about that part, right? Like, we obviously in the book we make a mention of she had some coaches that were bad, and we make it so it's age appropriate, so you can, if you need to tell that story with your kid, you know what page it's on. But as a society, we didn't mention that. We just went after her throat because she didn't win the gold for us. Like, she owed us something. And I again, and that page to me that's when you realize, man, we put her through the ringer. That was rough.
And by the way, Brad, where you mentioned, and you're right, like it references that she had some coaches that were bad. And like you said, depending on who's reading the book, they may not be ready for that, and it would be up to parents. But I will give a ton of credit to Chris Eliopoulos. That little frame where it says that she had the coaches that are really bad. I mean, for trying to send a message without saying the message, that artwork is great.
No, I mean, listen, the secret weapon of these books is Chris, right? I mean, he has this art style that's like Calvin and Hobbes meets Charlie Brown, and that's all adorable, and kids love it. But, like, there's a reason why there have been, thousands of books written about Rosa Parks or Amelia Earhart or Abraham Lincoln or the Beatles, but kids gravitate to ours. And it's no offense to me. It's not my writing. It's Chris's beautiful art. He makes you, anyone can do cute, right? Chris has cute art style, but what Chris can do, he can do heart. He can make you feel. And on that page, it says, and one coach was very bad for me. I had coaches who were intense and coaches who were good, but one coach was very bad. And it's Simone in the shadows just looking down. Now, you have a little kid, whatever, they just think you have a bad coach, but you have a kid who needs that story, and you have an opportunity now to change their life. And it's all thanks to Chris's art.
Hey, Brad, I hesitate to ask, but I'm going to. Like you mentioned when we were talking about Jane Goodall, about how she was involved and her people were involved. Were Simone's people involved in at least the reading of the book and going through it?
So I know she's read the book. The funny part was when we were proofing it, and it's just the timing of how it worked, she finally went on her honeymoon. So we've been talking to all of her people, but they're like, she's on her honeymoon. I'm like, I can't bother her on her honeymoon to check our book. Like, there's only so much, like I'm pretty shameless about asking people for favors. But I was like, I can't, like, the woman has been like, done nothing but try to win stuff for the country her whole life, and has finally taken a 6-month period where she truly escaped and left and was like, I need to live my own life now. And I'd be like, what about our book, though? Simone, like, we really could use your help here. So I know she's read it. They said we sent it to her, and obviously we sent it to her gym and to her parents. Sure. And the people that she works with have been really, really nice to us. But I couldn't do that one.
And so she also hasn't commented on the picture you posted of you in tights?
I mean, let's talk about that for a moment. Of all the pictures I've ever posted on my Instagram, whatever, Twitter, whatever, all the things, nothing has horrified my daughter more than this photo. Like, I sent it to Lila. My daughter is now 20 years old. So I sent her 2 pictures that Chris Eliopoulos did, where it's a picture of Stephen, the awesome gymnast who, with glasses, who, is the heartthrob, and they put my head on his body. and my daughter literally wrote back and said, I'm terrified, I'm horrified. That was the only response. I'm like, so you're saying you love this? She's like, do not post those. And so, of course, I posted it. And yesterday, it's 2 days later, and yesterday she says to me, why'd you post that? I told you not to. And I'm like, because you told me not to. Of course that's why I posted it. Exactly why I posted it. But we did tag Simone Biles in it, and I'm like, I don't think she's going to be sharing this one. But whatever, it's going to bother my daughter, so it's got to be worth it.
And then let me switch to something else, because I don't know. I don't want to run out of time with you. So that book is out. I Am Simone Biles. That is out, and it's available. Fantastic. It's awesome. Did I?
Thank you.
I was reading about it, and I love this also. You took the Nazi conspiracy and you made it a kid's book.
We did, because, kids love Nazis. And again, The thing is, when you say it's a kid's book, it's like for your 3-year-old. I mean, we did do I Am Anne Frank. We did do a kid's book for like
not like a child's book. Yes, no, but it's
right. But we did it.
It's for, I don't even know what age, young adults. But Brad, how long have I been telling you that I wish, like all your conspiracy books, how long have I been telling you that's how history books should be written? They should be written like novels in a way that read where it's interesting and it tells the story and it puts you in it. I love that you actually did it. And now it's a history book for young adults.
Yeah, no. Listen, it's for 9 to 12-year-olds. Because older than that, you could just read the real book. But we had all these kids that were exactly what you just said. That all these parents were like, we want this. And so we did a first conspiracy book for young readers. But the Nazi conspiracy book, secret plot to kill FDR, Stalin, and Churchill at the height of World War II. It's this amazing story of them against the Nazis. And we had all these teachers writing to us saying, hey, can you do a young adult version so we can, assign it to, our 9-year-olds, 10, 11, 12-year-olds. And it worked. It actually worked. Scholastic was like, we want to do this with you. So we went through the book. You pull out the most graphic stuff. You pull out, obviously, the language stuff that doesn't work for that young age group. But the funny thing is my son in his school last year got assigned one of our conspiracy books that was on the list of books you can pick. So the first conspiracy, which is about a secret plot to kill George Washington at the height of the Revolution, is one of them. And my son, of course, is not picking my book, but all of his friends picked the book because they were like, whatever, we can ask Brad if he does, if he gets stuck on something. And my son is like, oh, they picked your book, and I'm actually getting worried. And then my son says to me, with shock, like true shock, they liked it. And I'm like, well, thanks for that. Truly, as if it was like an impossible dream. Like, how could that possibly be happen that they would like this book? And the Nazi conspiracy to me is an even better book for those kids who are reluctant readers who are in kind of want to find something that they would love in history. You're not alone, dude. Scholastic was like, we're doing it. And I love the fact they did it. I want to do it with all of our conspiracy books.
Well, I was going to ask you, will you end up doing it with all of them? You should. They should. Scholastic should.
Yeah. Listen, people buy the books and they'll do another one with us. It's all about, is this going to work or not? Like, and they don't know. We've never done a book together before. So, obviously, that came out. This has been a busy week for us, but yeah, we have Nazi conspiracy coming out at the same time. But it's I love the fact that these and the thing is at my book signings, those kids come and find me. Like, if you're a history nerd like me when I was little, I didn't know where to go. But those kids, when I go do events, like when I'm coming in January for the new Thriller there, like you'll pick them out in line. There are these really smart, shy kids who just look like me when I was little, and they come up to me and they'll tell me the best part is they'll tell me what I get wrong. Like, they'll tell me, like, you typoed FDR's birthday. You got it off by a digit, like, because you typed the 18th instead of the 19th. And I'm like, they find everything. And I'm like, they should be my proofreaders, not the ones I got.
We're going to go, hey, nerd, you're at a book signing.
No, but the best part is the kids, the younger ones who are still Chris hides me in every single I Am book.
Right.
So I'm always hidden in the background. And so I had these two brothers, and they came up to me, and one is probably 10 years old, and the younger brother's 7 years old, maybe even a little younger. And the younger one is like, wait, I saw you in I Am Rosa Parks, and I saw you in, We Are the Beatles, and I saw you in this, and they're like, I have a question for you. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, are you a time traveler? and I thought that was really adorable. And then the older brother says, angry at the younger brother, says, he's not a time traveler, idiot. And he says, he's a vampire. Look at him. And I'm like, look at me. What is that part? I know I'm not the tannest guy around, but I was like, so kids can come and ask you questions about your history stuff, but they are fantastic.
Hey, two other things about the conspiracy books. Number one, and not to get all heavy and stuff, but with the Nazi conspiracy, dude, with the amount of anti-Semitism that's out there and running around right now, great timing for this to be out. And
listen, when we wrote that book, we thought we were at the height of anti-Semitism. right? Josh mentioned I put that book out a couple of years ago. We did not know it was going to be even worse. And that, I love you for saying that, because that's what Scholastic loved too, is they were like, you need a book that you can teach your kids, and to me, what the Nazi conspiracy is as a kid's book and as an adult book, yes, it's cool to say we have a secret plot to kill FDR, Stalin, and Churchill, and that's titillating and all that. But the key thing about that book is that authoritarianism has a roadmap, and it always has had a roadmap. And if you look at it, you have this charismatic leader who basically is like finds these poor and struggling economically, white Germans, and then he says those magic words, right? Those magic words are those people. Those people are the cause of your pain. And for decades, that's a code word, right? And in World War II, it's a code word. Hitler's saying it about, in Adolf Hitler's case, it's the Jewish people, right? But it eventually becomes the black community. It becomes the gay community. It becomes the immigrant community. And we forget that, to me, the Holocaust doesn't start with death camps. It starts with slogans and propaganda and rallies and book bans. And to me, the American dream is not about, money. The American dream is that when you see a bully and you see someone being picked on, you use your voice and you say, enough already. And man, we're fighting Nazis in 2025 still. They're still here. And, and I'm not talking about like just calling anyone in a different political party Nazi. We're fighting Nazis.
Right.
Like, there are people who are happy to watch the Jewish people be wiped off the planet. And as someone who's Jewish, that matters to me a great deal. So yeah, when we want people's kids to learn these lessons, because it's hard to change the minds of adults, Elliot, as you know. But for decades now, we've been arming the next generation of kids with these lessons of kindness and generosity and compassion. And I'll take that battle any day.
Hey, is there going to be another conspiracy book? Like, obviously, and we'll circle back to the I Am books, and I'm definitely going to get to the novel. Is there going to be another conspiracy book?
Oh yeah, working on it now. You're gonna love this one. You're gonna love this one. I'll text you when we're done, or unless you tell me not to.
No, don't. Because then I'll come back in and go, hey, Brad texted. I know what it is. I'm horrible with secrets.
Yeah,
normally
good.
I love a secret, but I'll blow it. I'll blow it.
You're gonna like it. It's good.
All right, so
I'm not. Yeah.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. I got all the time in the world. I got wherever you want to go.
Oh, I was going to say, I mentioned the novel. Dude, we got a date for the novel.
Oh, yeah. I'm coming to town.
January 6th, just in time for Christmas. The
right. Perfect timing. As usual, the marketing team that brought you January 5th, January 7th, and January 8th.
So the new novel is The Viper, a Zig and Nola novel. Hey, remind me. So back up a little bit. When was the last Zig and Nola novel?
It's going to be, by that January, 4 years. I mean, it's a long time. I used to write a book every 2 years, but when I started doing the kids' books and all the other stuff we do, I was like, I just, whatever. Something has to give somewhere. So it's 4 years. People, even my wife is like, I don't remember what happened anymore. I'm like, don't worry, we reset everything. Like, I can't, and so what, we got a really nice blurb from, some of these, you send your books out to like famous people to blurb them. And one of the blurbs came back and said, this is the perfect place to start. You don't have to know anything about Zig and Nola, but you can read The Viper and just read a good story. And that's how I treat it. I treat it as like, whenever you pick it up, it could be your first book and you can go from there. But I love this book. And there is one thing in this book I know you're going to love, and I don't know if did they send you a copy yet?
No, I don't have a copy of it. I did get an early copy of I Am Simone Biles, though.
You did.
Yes.
You did. You always get it. But you're about to get The Viper. The Viper is, it is, do not turn your back on The Viper. I love this book. And so, yeah, we're coming to DC. We're doing like Baltimore. We're doing outside, other part of Maryland, and then we're going back to Tyson's Corner, which has opened up again, the Barnes & Noble there. So we're going to be there as well.
Wait, hold on.
We'll be there in January.
Wait, hold on, Brad. Yes, Tyler?
Brad, are you waiting on Elliot's blurb?
That's the blurb we were waiting for. The blurb that says, great job putting it out in January, geniuses.
We can get that to you.
But no, but I'm glad. I'm glad. Number one, I think like your wife. But I thought the same thing is like when I was reading that it's coming out in January. I was like, that's awesome. I'm so glad it's coming out. I don't remember how the other one ended, and in my head I was like, is there going to be a prequel book or something, or do I just have to go back and read it? But I'm glad to hear that if I wanted to start, I could just start there.
Yeah, no, listen, I mean, I remember when I know it's a silly comparison, but like when you read Harry Potter, you forget those books came out, and she was, she really did whatever you think about those books. Like she resets the table, right? You got to reset the table for everyone, because I can't remember what happened. And that's where I'm a middle-aged guy. Like my brain is not, all of our brains have been fried by social media. We can't remember anything. So I was like, I'm going to just reset it. And the funny part is there's one scene in the book that was in, like my friend said to me, because he was proofing it for me, who I always go to, and he's like, this is my favorite scene. Man, you killed this scene. I'm like, yeah, that scene is in the previous 2 books. Like, it's in there 2 other times, and he had no idea. And I'm like, dude, you're my best friend, and you don't remember what I did. So I have no hope for any, so I knew, and that's why I put it in there, because I'm like, you're never going to remember this scene. It's so vital. So we tell it again. We make sure you get it again. We're not crazy.
All right, good.
Or
so
at least that crazy.
The Viper will be out on January 6th. Like you said, you're coming to town. Last couple of things. What is the action figure thing that you got from Comic-Con?
Oh, this is the best. Oh, I got to get one for you. It's so good. So I walk up to, I take my kids to San Diego Comic-Con this year. My boys wanted to go. And they said to me, can we go? And I'm like, I've been waiting my whole life for you to say those words. Let's go. And as we walk up, there is a beautiful, stunning woman dressed as Linda Carter, Wonder Woman. And I'm like, it's a sign from God. It's the first cosplay I see. So immediately I go up, I say, hey, can we take a picture together? And I basically tell her, I'm like, I know Linda Carter. She's going to love your outfit. And she's like, you really know her? I'm like, yeah, she's a good friend of ours. Like we did an event with her in Virginia, like for the I Am Wonder Woman book. And so she DMs me on Instagram. I mean, when I say like, you just look up the picture of me and Wonder Woman, you'll see like, and she DMs me and says, come by my booth. I'm entertaining at some booth, or and I don't even know what she's talking about. Like, I don't even pay much attention because San Diego is so big, but I send a picture of the text of me and Wonder Woman to Linda Carter. And then Linda texts me back and writes back like how amazing the woman's costume is. And as I turn the corner with that text in my hand, I run into the woman at this booth. And her booth is a booth that she's, entertaining to draw people in, is where they make your own action figure of you. They scan your body and they make you into an action figure. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, that's you. You're Wonder Woman. You're here. Here's the text from Linda Carter. And she loves it. She goes, I'm going to have them make a free action figure of you. And again, I'm like, been waiting my whole life for this. And so they put you in a little like laser thing, and it's truly out of like, Minority Report or something. And it scans around you, and they're like, in 2 months, we're going to send you an action figure. And I open up this box, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's me. And the funniest part is my daughter, when she sees it, she's like, Dad, because I have a little mole on the top of my head. She's like, they didn't get the mole. And she took a Sharpie and put it in for me. She literally Sharpied my mole in.
By the way, Tyler found the picture. That woman is amazing looking.
She's the nicest person of all time. Truly one of the nicest people. She's become a good friend. And I love the fact that she was so excited to see that Linda Carter thinks that she has the longest legs on the planet.
She is very tall. I mean, she dwarfs you, that's for sure.
Oh man, it's not hard, but 2, yes, she does. I mean, she's gigantic. I'm like, even without the boots, she's like, 6 whatever. It's great, but she's a perfect Linda Carter Wonder Woman.
Hey, what is the Otis Spunkmeyer chocolate chip cookie story?
Someone's been going through my Instagram, so. So I go to do it. This is how my life works, right? So I go to do this speech at this corporate event, and when you go to these corporate events, they always have free food outside, whatever. They'll be like salads or something, or coffee stations or whatever. At this particular one, it was a food service one. They have Hershey bars and Otis Spunkmeyer cookies, which is crazy to me. So my first thought is, well, I'm stealing all this. And so I just load up on Spunkmeyer cookies and Hershey bars, because it's like full-size Hershey bars. And as I give the speech, I'm like, listen, I have this line in the speech that says, when you leave here, when you go back home, but I added the line just impromptu. I said, when you leave here and you're done stealing all the Hershey bars and Otis Spunkmeyer cookies, like, you blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the speech, these two people come up to me looking really serious. I'm like, oh, this is bad. And they're representatives from the Hershey Corporation and from Otis Spunkmeyer Cookies. And both of them say the same thing to me. That was so nice. Because I said, by the way, I totally stole them myself. I admitted to the audience I stole it myself. And I said, they said, thank you for that shout out. Give us your address. You're about to get the best care packages in the world. And I get an entire thing of Hershey bars that will last me, forever. And then Otis Spunkmeyer Cookies sends me like a year's worth of frozen cookies. It's like, I can't tell you, like the picture doesn't do it justice. It is like you need another refrigerator freezer. It is like pounds and pounds and pounds of giant cookies. We eat them every weekend. I still am not halfway done.
It's awesome. All right. So,
and by the way, my son's friends come over and they're like, you got cookies? I'm like, I got cookies for everybody, baby. Let's go.
All right, so the Nazi conspiracy for the young adult, that's out. More importantly, I Am Simone Biles, part of the Ordinary People Change the World collection. That is out and available. Brad, that book is great. That book is so, so good. And then we'll see you in January for Viper.
I can't wait. I'll see you face to face and miss you guys. I appreciate all the kindness and love for Simone Biles, because, man, I think there are some kids who need that mental health love right now.
Amen. And by the way, have fun at the World Series tomorrow night.
Yeah, thank you. I'll send you a picture.
All right, good deal. Thanks, Brad.